How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out what's new in Rust. And it is the Arctic update combined with the quality of life update. So we've got some quality of life and some Arctic stuff to show you here. And yeah, we've got some new items and new vehicle and new monument. So it's definitely a really big update. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna go ahead and hit up some of the quality of life stuff first. So SAM sites have actually seen quite a few changes to them. You'll actually notice that it now has a defender mode, and this basically, as it says, makes it only hit the MLRS attacks. So this means that it's kind of like a peacekeeper mode for helis that aren't necessarily friendly or not. Also, you could technically turn it to this when you know, if you don't want to shoot down other people's helis and don't want to shoot down your own and only worry about MLRS. So there you go. But it has seen some much needed upgrades as well. It now has the same kind of connections as the auto turret. It has a has connection, low ammo, and no ammo. So right now, of course, it doesn't have a target, but if we take out all the ammo, boom, low ammo turns on. And if we actually put in 9, it's gonna flash as low ammo, and then you'll see if we actually drag one more in there, it'll turn. There we go, turn off. Took it a second there, it still had, you know, a signal. So yeah, anything less than 10, it will start to flash. So there's how that one works right there. Then we've also seen a change with the Tek Tree, which is very nice. It will now actually tell you how much scrap you have in your inventory, so you know what you're working with. And then as you click along, it will tell you how much total required, and gives you all the little extra details there on the side panel. Just is very, very nice. You can go all the way down here and say, okay, if I want to get all the way to scope, it's going to need 2,625 scrap. So there you go. Definitely something that is really, really nice. You know, plan out those scrap runs. In addition to that, if you go into your menu and you check out settings, and you go to controls, you'll see that they have actually added in native support for auto walk, which is quite cool. And then there's also one for a auto toggle, I believe, as well. And they also have added in a mute function to the game as well. So for that, I believe we're gonna have to actually turn chat mode on. There we go. And when you hit enter, it'll bring up the chat bar as usual, but now there's a manage muted players right here. And then you can go through anyone that's been on the server here and mute them. I don't know who anyone is, so I'm going to pick someone randomly here. Gandalf, I'm sorry. I'm muting you. Goodbye. And boom, there they go, muted. Or you can try to search by name as well. They're up on the top. If you want to go ahead and unmute them, you can manage that in F1. You can go to unmute, and you can put up their name. Also in contacts, of course, I haven't ran into anyone on this freshly wiped server yet, but people will now show up in the order that you have ran into them, so that can help you track down where you last remember them as well. So the most recent person will be the most recently seen, which just plain makes sense. In addition to these changes, there are a few other worth mentioning as well. The helicopter actually shows up on the map now, which is something the community has asked for quite some time. And also, when your teammates are downed, there will be a downed symbol over their name, which I can demonstrate here if we make a team. And then let's go ahead and do God 2. And let's see, where'd that polar bear go? Or actually, you know what? We can just down ourselves the good old-fashioned way. Oh, there's the polar bear. Boom. So as you'll see, their name still changes orange, but there's a little downed arrow next to the name there. Alright, so in addition to that, also when you are looting a downed player, it would always kick you out of the inventory when they died. That will no longer happen. You can continue looting, therefore less chance of you getting blasted away because of a stupid mechanic, so to say. So the devs have taken the time to make sure that has been fixed. So there are quite a bit of things being popped in. Now, you already saw me in this suit when I waved hello, but this is the Arctic Hazmat suit. And this thing is amazing. Peak Sporting Goods. Also, hey, we have a new company added to the lore of Rust. And yeah, the detail put into this is amazing. I mean, if you really want to see it in detail, you can check it out in the skin video, because it is a skin. It is part of a skin pack that includes this Arctic Hazmat skin, a skin for the Snowmobile, which we're about to show you, and a skin for the AK, which we are also about to show you. So with the Hazmat, it is literally just a regular Hazmat is a Hazmat skin. Projectile and melee are untouched, but bite damage, you'll notice you are missing 3. Radiation has gone down from 50 to 33, but cold has gone up from 8 to 33. And explosion has had a -2 added to it as well. So it does have a balance of trade-off. So, for instance, radiation isn't high enough for you to go into military or, you know, launch site, so forth. But, you know, it will protect you in the cold. So, you know, you kind of have that kind of trade-off going on with it there. Now, the AK itself is it's just a normal AK. When you craft an AK, you can choose this skin just like you would in any other normal skin. But you'll see that it is not a normal skin in the fact that it has parts hanging off of it, which isn't something that can be done with normal, you know, community skins, but can be with face punch first party items. And you may be, is that cold coming off of it? That's not my character's breath, guys. That is a cold ice effect coming off of the AK itself, which is definitely very, very cool. And just to show, yeah, see, it is just a normal AK. Boom. There you go. Same thing with the Hazmat suit. You can go ahead and switch it back and forth, so to say. But before we get to that and show you this last skin here, I want to go ahead and show you one last big update to something small. The TC has a tool storage. You can put the hose, your hammer, a building plan, and the electric tool in there. Definitely a nice little thing for all of the builders that are out there. So let's get on to the newest item, the spray can. Now this will have some other features hopefully in the future, but those have been put on hold for now for future testing. So for right now, it does its original, you know, listed purpose ages ago. I remember doing a video on it and showing a very rough animation. But this puppy is for reskinning objects that are already placed in the world or large objects such as vehicles. So what does that mean? You can walk up to a door, right click, and pick a skin. Pick a skin, any skin, I don't know, this one. Boom. Done. You know what? Don't like it. Boom. Done. No picking up required. Now, it does require you to have building privilege to do this. Now, future other purposes like actual doing spray paint and stuff like that, we'll just have to see, and you guys will have to keep in tune for that. But it just makes it so much nicer. You don't actually have to pick up your stuff. Now, one thing I did forget to show you, which I would like to show you right here, you'll notice it tells me what I'm missing now. Insufficient 7 metal fragments. Insufficient stone, wood, low grade. That is another builder's upgrade. And, oh man, how often do you want to reskin your buddy's ugly chests, or maybe put some labels on something now that you're more organized, and you have to pick up the box and move everything? No, you don't anymore. Beautiful, right? But let's check out the very first vehicle skin. Walk up to it, boom, bam, the Tomaha. And yeah, it's basically just a you know, non-rickety, rusty version of a snowmobile. It doesn't change how it runs or works in any way whatsoever, just its physical appearance. So there you have it, first vehicle skin ever. That's definitely something that brings quite a bit of excitement. So the spray can for itself, how do you make it? Pretty simple. Just spray can, there it is. No requirements other than 100 metal fragments. And you are set to go with that. So definitely a very cool and welcome addition to the game. Alright guys, and as I mentioned in the background, there is a new mob, and oh man, here he is. Look at that. The polar bear. This thing is super aggressive. It is way bigger than the usual bear. Has 420 health and does quite a bit of damage when it swipes you naked. Even in the hazmat suit, one swipe does somewhere around like 38 damage. So this thing hurts quite a bit. But in return, when you manage to kill it, you do get quite a bit more resources than you would a normal bear. Alright, we'll go ahead and harvest this guy here. Has 100 harvesting health. And there we go. Not too bad of a haul from one bear. Alright, so let's take a look at the snowmobile itself, and this model is just absolutely amazing. It fits Rust so well. It's rusty and put together, and yeah, it's just great. You know, and a new vehicle is always something very welcome. Now, in the back here, you'll notice it has storage for a full small box, which is quite nice. Now, there is, of course, no way to lock that, or to lock the vehicle itself, so treat it like a boat. More or less, you're going to have to store it somewhere to keep it from decaying, of course, and from being stolen from you. So you are going to want to keep it nearby or guarded if you leave it. But we'll go ahead and hop on to it, and you'll see that the fuel storage is right in front here. When you find them, they spawn. We'll show you that here shortly in the Arctic lab. It usually has about 20 fuel or so in there. You'll see there's a fuel gauge on the front of it here. And it also has 2 seats, and the nice thing about the back seat is you can spin a full 360 degrees, meaning you can fully protect your driver depending wherever you may be shot at from. So that's kind of a nice little addition there. One other thing you'll notice is with all vehicles now, you'll have to hold down your spacebar or whatever key you may use for 0.25 seconds before you hop off. This will help against accidental dismounts, which are quite bad when in a submarine, a boat, or, well, up in the sky, honestly. So definitely a nice little addition there. You also note that it has 300 health. It requires metal fragments to repair. So let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive. As you'll see, it does make quite a bit of noise, so people will be able to hear you from pretty far. Now, you can do damage to animals and players with running them down, but it does do a good chunk of the health. So does running into other objects like trees and so forth. So you'll see that hitting that polar bear did a big chunk of health to us. So that is definitely... oh no! Whoa, hey, we did it. We went down the cliff. Look at that. So we're gonna go fully down here. The snowmobile actually does run on 2 different terrains, snow and sand equally. But once you get onto other stuff like ice, you'll notice that it's actually quite a bit easier to spin out on the ice. You'll see I'm kind of having a bit of a hard time. Then once it hits here, man, it speeds right up. And that is the main thing to really notice, is that when you hit certain terrains, like let's say the road, dirt, or stone, that it will greatly slow down the snowmobile. So that's something to keep in mind. And, you know, just in case you aren't noticing that you're going slower, there are sparks that will actually fly off of the snowmobile itself that will, you know, let you know you're on the wrong terrain. It does feature a headlight, so whatever, you know, your button may be for that, which I'd say is pretty good for seeing far enough ahead of yourself to see where you're going. And see, there you go. You hit that ice and you really start to spin. Then we have the larger red buildings over here, which once we head inside, you'll see there are various loot containers. Lots of detailed equipment. Makes you wonder if there may be something in the future that has to do with all of these lights and the radar dome. So this is the radar dome. If you want to take note of the most important thing, I would say, is the fact that there is a recycler on the outside of it. So it is in quite an open area. You're going to have to clear those NPCs and make sure no one's shooting you in the back. Once you head off into here, you'll see there's various heaters, and then usually a loot crate. As you can see, there's one of the construction boxes right up here, like so. Then heading off into this way, there is a large central building and 2 hangars. We'll get to the hangars here in a minute. The central building itself is actually very noteworthy because of the detail that the team just put into decorating this place. It is absolutely cool. You all have to take your own time to look through here, but I figured we'd do a little loop around it. You can see there's some various crates here. And it actually has an upstairs. And up here, there's something a little bit creepy going on. You've got a frostbite victim with no head. And they actually hid the head around in here, so you go ahead and try to find it, guys. I won't show you where it is. You can do that on your own. Oh, hey there. And there's also usually some loot out here on the outside. Some more scientists around here. Barrels, and so forth. But the main loot attraction is going to honestly be these two hangars, of which you will need to use a blue key card to open them. So we'll go ahead and buzz into this first one, and this will usually have a chance of some green crates. They could also be brown crates. There's a weapon box, construction box. This one just happened to have a real good 3 green crates in here, so that was actually a good roll, I would say. And then if we go ahead and head over to this one, this is the big one that everyone's going to want to pay attention to. It is where we have the snowmobile. But there's also a really cool animation to these doors, and a warning that will come with it. So, we're going to go ahead and slide that key card. Head back underground and cruise on up here because that's very loud. And you'll see, look, it very slowly lowers. Yeah, you can't find me now. Now, if you are under this, while it does that, it will crush you. So don't think of that as a good hiding place. You hear that? That's a heavy door, right? But there it is, the snowmobile. This is where it spawns and will respawn. So pretty much if you see the blue key cards open, the doors open, there probably won't be one in here. But you're going to have to try your luck again. And like I said, there's a chance of various boxes all the way up to the green crates. You can see some brown ones will spawn sometimes and so forth. But this is pretty good. 5 green crates from 2 swipes of the blue key card. Not too bad with the addition of getting a snowmobile. So that pretty much is going to do it, everyone. That is the summary of pretty much this huge update that they brought to us. Once again, the team has really knocked it out of the park with an amazing update to Rust. New vehicles, new items, and potential for so much more. And they have said that there will be new guns, as well as more new creatures and new places and vehicles. So it seems like it's going to be a very exciting year. Once again, guys, thanks for joining me. As always, it's been that German guy, and, well, you all stay rusty and enjoy your new Arctic wipe.